Welcome back. You're watching NewsX with me, Neha Khanna. The big breaking news at this hour, Prime Minister Narendra Modi delivered a much-awaited, highly anticipated address to the nation just a short while ago, lasting about 10 minutes. The Prime Minister announced India's anti-satellite missile system with a successful test that has been carried out against a low Earth orbit satellite codenamed Mission Shakti. The Prime Minister there saying that with this move, India has now become a space superpower, entered an elite space club that so far had only 3 other members, US, Russia and China. The Prime Minister saying this is meant to boost India's defense, India's security interests. It is essentially aimed at India's economic and technological advancements, not targeted against any other country, but a big boost for India in the area of space technology. With this giant leap, we're right up there in the big boys club, and certainly an occasion for us to pay a tribute to our brilliant and world-class scientists and to all those brilliant men and women who make up institutions like ISRO and the DRDO. Let me see if we can in fact play out an excerpt from that address that was delivered by Prime Minister Modi just a short while ago. Do we have that?
आज 27 मार्च कुछ ही समय पूर्व भारत ने एक अभूतपूर्व सिद्धि हासिल की है। भारत ने आज अपना नाम अंतरिक्ष महाशक्ति स्पेस पावर के रूप में दर्ज करा दिया है। अब तक दुनिया के 3 देश अमेरिका, रूस और चीन को यह उपलब्धि हासिल थी। अब भारत चौथा देश है जिसने आज यह सिद्धि प्राप्त की है। सिर्फ 3 मिनट में सफलतापूर्वक यह ऑपरेशन पूरा किया गया है। मिशन शक्ति यह अत्यंत कठिन ऑपरेशन था, जिसमें बहुत ही उच्च कोटि की तकनीकी क्षमता की आवश्यकता थी। वैज्ञानिकों द्वारा सभी निर्धारित लक्ष्य और उद्देश्य प्राप्त कर लिए गए हैं। भारत की सुरक्षा की दृष्टि से और भारत की विकास यात्रा की दृष्टि से देश को एक नई मजबूती देगा। मैं आज विश्व समुदाय को भी आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूं कि हमने जो नई क्षमता प्राप्त की है, यह किसी के विरुद्ध नहीं है। यह तेज गति से आगे बढ़ रहे हिंदुस्तान की रक्षात्मक पहल है।
All right, Major General A.K. Sivaj on the phone line with us. General Sivaj, your thoughts on the Prime Minister's announcement?
See, this is a very good achievement as far as India is concerned. This is an anti-satellite. It means that if there is a hostile satellite which is in a lower orbit after 300 kilometers, we have achieved the capability of shooting that hostile satellite. That is what we have achieved. We are the 4th country to achieve in the world. Earlier it was US, Russia and China. Now we are the 4th one. Now what will it achieve? It will achieve 2 things. One is that any country which is trying to do any spying or hostile, there will be a deterrence. They will not dare to do it because India has a capability of shooting down that. Second thing is that in case we realize it, there is a satellite which is being used against the national interest of India, we can shoot down that. So therefore, today we have now demonstrated our capability to the world, and this will go in a long way. One is that it is a good achievement of our scientists of DRDO and ISRO. At the same time, it sent a message to the world that we are a country rising and we have a capability of shooting a satellite which is against our national interest and which is in lower orbit. And this is a mission Shakti, which is anti-satellite, which was started about 3 years back during UPA government. They have fruitified. So it's a big achievement. It's a big achievement. It shows our power of emerging as a superpower in space in time to come.
Certainly in India now a superpower in space. And what advantage, sir, does this now give India vis-a-vis its arch rivals in the region in particular?
Neha, it is a game changer. My point is that we were always worried about China. That China was using some satellite which are spying on India. We were not having capability of having a deterrence against that. And we did not have a capability of bringing it down. Now we have demonstrated to China mainly because Pakistan didn't have. Pakistan had all that capability borrowed from China only. So as on today, by achieving what we have achieved, we are now sending a correct message to China that in case if there is a satellite which is carrying out an anti-India mission in the space and trying to be hostile to our interests or trying to spy it, we have a capability of bringing down that. So this is a grave achievement and it will have a lot of deterrence effect, especially on China.
Certainly, a deterrence you are saying for China. In fact, Subramaniam Swamy of the BJP also talking about how this is a big step forward even as far as our security defenses against Pakistan are concerned. General Sehwag, before we let you go, if for the benefit of our viewers who don't fully comprehend what this achievement really means, can you just simplify it, sir, and deconstruct it for our viewers?
Neha, what is happening is that there are certain laws in the space which has to be followed. In fact, if you shoot any satellite, then the debris remains in the orbit for long, especially on high altitude. So if you have a capability of shooting those missiles in a lower orbit, the debris doesn't stay for long. That is point number one. What we have demonstrated is the satellites which are in a lower orbit, they can be utilized by the enemy country as a spy satellite, and they can be utilized against our interest. We could make out that satellite is doing spy or doing any action which is against Indian interest, but we did not have capability of interfering with that satellite. As on today, we have got this capability of anti-satellite that in lower orbit, if there is a satellite which is doing anything against our interest, maybe a spy satellite or having some weapon system, we have a capability of shooting that satellite. That is a big achievement. So this will prove to be a deterrence for those who will try to do anything against the interest of the nation in lower orbit against India.
All right, General Sehwag, thanks very much for speaking to NewsX and sharing your perspective with us on this very big and important development. Let me see if I can go back to my colleagues at this point. Can I go back to Ashish? All right, Ashish, you heard what General Sehwag there said. You know, how this anti-missile system and capability is something that ISRO and DRDO, many are also pointing out on Twitter, always possessed, but India had never conducted this test before. And this strengthens our capabilities significantly, especially given the kind of threats that India faces in the region. Would you say, Ashish, that this is a message to some of our arch rivals in some ways? Of course, the Prime Minister making it very clear this is only for India's self-defense and economic and technological advancement. We're not targeting this against any country, but fact is that a giant leap of this nature does send out a message. Okay, Ashish, give me one moment. I will come back to you with exactly that question, but Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad is speaking. Let's listen in.
आज देश के लिए ऐतिहासिक दिन है। आज भारत के वैज्ञानिकों ने बहुत बड़ा काम किया है और प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी की अगुवाई में देश एक और बहुत बड़ी ऊंचाई पर चढ़ गया है। आज भारत दुनिया की चौथे बड़ी स्पेस शक्ति बन गया है। ये कैसे हुआ है? एक लो ऑर्बिट सैटेलाइट जिसकी नजर भारत के खिलाफ ठीक नहीं थी, उसको भारत में निर्मित सैटेलाइट ने मात्र 3 मिनट में मार गिराया। यह भारत की नई क्षमता, जो अमेरिका, चीन और एक आध देश के बाद भारत ने चौथी ताकत प्राप्त की है। और भारत के वैज्ञानिकों ने भारत में निर्मित इस मिसाइल से यह काम करके दिखाया है। तो यह भारत की अंदरूनी ताकत का परिचय है, यह भारत की नई ऊर्जा का परिचय है, यह भारत की नई आशा और आत्मविश्वास का परिचय है। और यह इसलिए हो पाया है कि माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी भारत के प्रधानमंत्री हैं, जिन्होंने भारतीय वैज्ञानिकों को यह अवसर दिया, भारत की सेना को यह अवसर दिया कि देश को आगे बढ़ाना है। तो भारत आज दुनिया की सबसे बढ़ती आर्थिक ताकत है। भारत की वायुसेना और भारत की सेना ने एक नई ऊर्जा स्थापित की है, नया साहस दिखाया है। और भारत के वैज्ञानिकों ने आज भारत की स्पेस ताकत को आगे बढ़ाया है कि हमारे तरफ सैटेलाइट से अगर किसी की बुरी नजर होगी तो उसका जवाब दिया जाएगा। इस नए उदयमान भारत का मैं अभिनंदन करता हूं, वैज्ञानिकों को प्रणाम करता हूं और माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी की अगुवाई में भारत जो आगे बढ़ रहा है उसके लिए अंदर से गौरवान्वित हूं। ये मेरे लिए परम सौभाग्य है कि माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी की टीम में मुझे भी काम करने का अवसर मिल रहा है और भारत कैसे बदल रहा है। टुडे इज इंडीड अ वेरी हिस्टोरिक डे। India has emerged as a big space power for which all the scientists of India and the Prime Minister in particular deserve full praise. The Indian scientists have assured that any low Earth orbit having not a very good design of India can be destroyed in 3 minutes by satellite manufactured by scientists of India. It is the emergence of a new India of hope, of energy, of courage. Congratulations to all the scientists and warm greetings to our leader, the Prime Minister, who had trusted the ability of our scientists to make it happen. Let us see the entire roadmap. India is today a global economic powerhouse, fastest growing economy. India is today a growing digital power. India is today, the Air Force and the Armed Forces have set their own benchmark of proficient handling even across the border against terrorist camps. And today India is also an important space power, whereby any satellite movement detrimental to India's interest will be dealt with. This new India, I convey my greetings. It's a historic day. I compliment the scientists and the Prime Ministers altogether.
Sir, the Congress Party has reacted to this, that the UPA government in 2012 had initiated this program, ASAT program, and which has fructified today. So they are claiming that it was their initiative which took 7 years of time. And
I don't want to make any political issue today, Prakash ji, except to tell them that they are out of power for the last 5 years. And they need to reflect as to why people had to ensure that they are no more in power. That is the reason. Obviously, for 5 years they were in power. But the trust given to the scientists of India by the Prime Minister to make India a space power, whereby any satellite having a undesirable ideas about India can be dealt with by satellites manufactured in India. Time, space, 3 minutes.
To a common man, how will you explain the advantages of this satellite project?
The common man only wants to see a resurgent India of hope.
What are the advantages to a common man in plain and simple words?
The common man, Bharat सुरक्षित हुआ और ये
कैसे सुरक्षित?
धन्यवाद।
All right. Union Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad there saying it's a truly historic day for India. But all right, let's bring our viewers up to speed on some of the other political reactions that are coming in. Of course, Union Ministers, BJP leaders all congratulating the Prime Minister, the government and scientists at ISRO and DRDO. But opposition leaders have also started reacting. Let me read out a few tweets. Omar Abdullah saying mountains and molehills spring to mind. Not very impressed clearly by this announcement. Akhilesh Yadav putting out a tweet saying today Narendra Modi got himself an hour of free television and divert the nation's attention away from issues on the ground like unemployment, the rural crisis and women's security by pointing at the sky. Congratulations to DRDO and ISRO. The success belongs to you. Thank you for making India safer. So clearly, opposition leaders, very interesting, congratulating the scientists of India, the DRDO, ISRO, the institutions, some of the finest in the world that have made this success story possible for India, acknowledging their role and the fact that this is a big step forward for India in space technology, but clearly also not sparing this opportunity to take jibes at the Prime Minister, saying that he, got everyone so excited, got everyone's attention, got everyone hooked to their TV sets and got a lot of attention today ahead of making this announcement, and in a sense also there making a jibe that the Prime Minister there is seeking credit for the work done by the scientists. But of course that sort of a political war is something that you do expect here in India, especially on the eve of a big election. All right, my colleague Ashish Singh joining us at this point. Ashish, the political sparring apart, because that is to be expected, especially in election season. We've been talking about the significance of this step forward, the fact that our brilliant scientists who are par excellence and, no less than the best and the brightest in the world, doing India proud once again. Institutions like DRDO and ISRO doing India proud once again. But before we went across to what Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad was saying, Ashish, you and I were talking about how, while the Prime Minister has made it clear that this is for India's own strategic and technological and economic interests, this is not targeted against any country, we mustn't forget that a step forward of this nature does send out a very important message to some of our arch rivals and to some of the biggest powers around the world, Ashish.
Well, that's right. Now, there is a lot of speculation. I've been reading a lot on social media about it, and a lot of people are posing questions as well. Yes, there is no doubt in a simple line, just for the international point of view. This is something that has the potential to draw international condemnation. Now, when China tested something similar just a few months ago, it had a lot of international criticism, only because of the fact that the humans, the countries, specifically the major powers, we have a lot of battles and the wars and the conflicts going on on the earth. You have something now entering in the domain of space, and cyber has a lot of futuristic threat as far as the mankind and the daily lives are concerned. Now that's the reason why the new domain is something that was being talked about a lot in the international space and cyber community, that should we create something of that sort. It's something similar to see what would have happened around 20-30 years ago with the nuclear test. Should we create something like that? Should we not create something like that? Or should be an embargo among all the countries? But most of the countries have broken that particular embargo despite so many sanctions and other aspects by the major powers in the world. And this again has little lower intensity, but something similar in nature as far as the entering a new domain is concerned. Now there will be a race, there will be a race to have capabilities in the space domain. And when you have these kind of deterrents, these kind of potent weapons being created, tested in the space domain, that certainly is something that not every country has the potential and the capabilities of, but at the same time everyone wants to have that. As I was explaining earlier to our viewers, Neha, basically what happens is when you have one adversary or one enemy country shooting down our satellite, we would even if we know that okay, this particular country has shot down our satellite, we do not have the capability. Until a few days ago, India didn't have the capability, and someone is fighting us in a space domain, but we are fighting the same country or adversary in either the maritime, land or air domain. That is a huge change, and the lower aspect in terms of degree and space, and that's the reason we needed to have that capability to have that kind of potent weapon in the space domain. That creates a deterrence. You know, it's something similar to a nuclear weapon. You know, when you have a nuclear weapon, the other country cannot fire a nuclear weapon at you. It's generally done. We have seen how the Hiroshima Nagasaki had taken place in 1945. It's generally seen as if only one country has a nuclear weapon, that country will always have the edge, because can always call the final shot and have the last word as far as the battle is concerned. But now in space domain, since you have this particular capability, the deterrence will come into picture. Now, if someone is fighting us in space domain, we also have the capability of fighting the same country in the space domain. Until a few days ago, India didn't have that. And that is a huge jump, and the political move as far as the political decision as far as the creation of Mission Shakti is concerned. Remember, also at the same time, just to give our viewers a sense of how does it work and what exactly it is, before I come to the international domain of how the world would see this. See, this is basically a combination of a missile and the basic principles of air defense. We already had the Prithvi missile in terms of air defense. We had the Agni 5 missile tested, which have huge range. So when you combine these two aspects and have something created at this level, it certainly creates and gives India the capability to go into the space domain with the range that Agni 5 has and the basic principles of air defense. So it's not just for the adversary satellites, adversary country satellites. See, if any space projectile coming towards India, it can be shot down. Any war or conflict scenario, we can take care of the enemy satellites. Also, one need not, for example, a Pakistan or a China need not shoot down our satellite. Pakistan doesn't have the capability, but say a China or a US or a Russia need not shoot down our satellites with the help of these kind of systems. They can just simply make one satellite, their own satellite, a redundant one, as a projectile, as a missile, and launch it towards India. And there will hardly be any kind of trace as far as which country used it, and this particular satellite can fall in Indian domain, on Indian land or Indian maritime area or Indian air domain. But now we have, even if something unknowingly or without any negative intention approaching towards India's side, it can be neutralized in space. Now it's all about range. We currently have the range of 300 kilometers, so that basically is the lowermost orbit around the Earth. It's now about developing it further, because lower you stay as far as the orbit of Earth is concerned, the lesser time you get to neutralize these kind of projectiles or the satellites coming towards India. The moment you start developing a higher range, as we have seen in the case of Agni missiles, it started with very few limited range, and now it has gone up to the 300 kilometer range, 500 kilometer range Agni 5. The higher the range you develop in terms of Agni 5 plus the air defense system, the larger the time you get. So now we have developed this capability. It's about developing it further to create a higher range that will give India the slightly more time in the decision-making process in the execution of this particular aspect. For example, the 300 kilometer range of Mission Shakti was achieved approximately in 3 minutes. So if you go beyond 300 kilometers range, as far as this particular missile system is concerned, you'll get much more than 3 minutes time in terms of decision-making, in terms of execution of it. So entering in this particular elite club, as far as the space and the satellite capabilities are concerned, is certainly going to keep India at par with the top 3 major powers of the world. You got Russia, you got China, you got US, and now you have India. Let's see how would the international community would react. Something similar to the nuclear test is expected in terms of reaction from the international community. But yes, it's not going to be of that intensity. Even if the condemnation comes, it will not be that bigger condemnation, because India is not what it was during the Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government when the nuclear tests were conducted. We are much bigger in terms of economy, in terms of power, in terms of decision making, in terms of relative importance, not only just in the region but on the global map. So let's see how would the international community would react. Neha?
Ashish, very interesting question. How will the international community react? Because the last time any country conducted this test was China, and there was worldwide condemnation. India is viewed differently. You're quite right, Ashish. But why is this weapon considered so controversial? We'll discuss that at great detail in just a moment. But before that, let's get a word in from Major General K.K. Sinha, I believe, who joins us on the phone line. General Sinha, your thoughts, sir, on the announcement made by the Prime Minister today?
Neha, it is a great achievement as far as space is concerned. It is not only that we have become the fourth nation, after, of course, America and Russia and China. What is more important that we have gone and shown and demonstrated the world. Chinese did it in 2007, in the 80s, American and Russian did it. We have done it now in the low orbit. What capability and capacity we are showing to the world, that we are doing it for the defensive purpose. This, along with the S-400, which you know that we are getting with the Russia as an anti-missile system, it is a great and huge military capability and capacity. It is not only thing, the demonstration is also for any kinetic type of missile, which is coming on the ICBM. We are not saying that. But because we are under the, we are saying that we are within the rights and the international conventions, we have done it. We have not done it, because the convention says that we do not test anything of weapon of mass destruction. But we have gone for a live demonstration in the self-defense in this particular case. So a huge, huge capability. Mind you that, a few days back, if you remember, the Americans have said that they are going for the Space Command. When the people are taking lead, China is not stopping. The India has got a full right to do this thing. If we don't do it at this stage of juncture, then you are left behind. And it's a huge political decision taken. Because this capability was there with us, to test long back. But it requires a political will to do that. And what, Ashish was saying, that the way we did it when we have gone nuclear, it is something like that. You are doing it, you are showing your will to do it and to join. It is not getting into the arm race, but you are getting into the capability and capacity the way we have gone nuclear.
All right, so you're saying this is very similar to Pokhran 1 and Pokhran 2. Quite interesting there, General Sinha. Now, this essentially takes us into an elite club of countries. We've acquired and demonstrated a high-end technological capability, really, by destroying the satellite in low orbit using an anti-satellite weapon. But, sir, if you could explain for our viewers, why is this considered controversial? Because the last time China conducted this test, there was worldwide condemnation, and it is believed that India possessed this ability for a long time. Our scientists at ISRO and DRDO possessed this capability, but a go-ahead was not given ever before this, for this test.
Neha, you said it. See, this capability and capacity we did have, long back. Then especially we have shown that we can put the things on the satellite. You have to make a weapon, and because we have got also the missile system, we are very, very ahead, most of the countries in the world, especially after the BrahMos. See, the thing is like this, it requires a political will, and you have to face, something will be there. It is not going to be a controversy, the way it has come. When the China did it in 2007, they have done it in a higher, orbit. We have gone to the low Earth orbit of 300 kilometers. But they have done it on a higher, that time, and what? In the 15, 20 days, the people will make a hue and cry, and then you have joined a club. And the club joining comes with your capability, capacity, and the determination to do it. The determination is very important part of it, and that's what has been shown today. If the decision has been taken few days back, and the go-ahead has been given by the government of the day, that, that you go ahead and test it, this is a huge determination, a huge, initiative. It requires guts to do it. And mind you, it has been done when the America is already announced that they are going for a space command. So we are moving in that direction. This, along with the basically a cyber warfare, and world is going towards a hybrid war. That Pakistani has unleashed you a hybrid war. Mind you, the thing what we see in Jammu and Kashmir, it is not a normal warfare. It is a hybrid war of a different dimension. So those, if you want to defeat it, you have to go all out, holistically have this capability and capacity with you so that you can do it. And every world knows when we have gone nuclear, we have taken the self-moratorium that no first use. Very few countries have, done it. So India has shown, and in spite of provocation, we have never made it, as a bargaining tool or sometimes to show the capability. Pakistan is, they keep telling you, but India has never. Even in the case of China, we have said it is not. So India is a responsible country, and mind you, this test is a very low-cost test. No world can do this. The amount of money which we have used for this test, the world is to follow. So India is taking slowly and steadily taking a lead where you are emulating a position, a theory, a doctrine that the world to follow. That you have the capability, you have the capacity, and it is for you, for your own safety of the people. With the way the Prime Minister said, 1.3 billion people, you are doing these things, and if required, it can be used. This is also a message. Any ICBM coming, it can be knocked down.
All right. So a significant step forward there for India. Thanks very much, Major General Sinha, for sharing your views with us. All right, let me now go across to my colleague Sumit Chaudhary, who also joins us on the phone line. Sumit, some very interesting reactions coming in. Most certainly seem to think that this is a big step forward for India, a giant leap, as it were, in space technology, and India now really does emerge as a space superpower, given that we've entered a very elite club.
Well, definitely this is one of the major steps as far as Indian space is concerned. And when we are talking about how India has been coming to the elite club of all those nations, especially the nations who have developed these strategies, this capability very early. In 2007, China has developed this. In 1985, US has developed, and now India is the fourth nation who have this kind of capability, especially when we're talking about capabilities. This is very normal to understand what capability do we have achieved after this test. And that is, now we can, if we go for a space warfare kind of...
Sorry to interrupt you, but Lieutenant General Raj Kadian is on the phone line with us. Let's get a word in from him. General Kadian, your first thoughts, sir, on the Prime Minister's Big Bang announcement. How big a leap do you think this is for India in space technology and, as far as space warfare itself is concerned? Because even though the Prime Minister made it clear that this is has been done in self-defense, it's not targeted against any country, but fact of the matter is that this is a very bold step that India has taken, because we always possess the capability. The political go-ahead was never given for this before. It was considered controversial. It was considered risky. Why do you think the government has gone ahead with this now, and how big do you think this is?
I think this is a great achievement on the part of India, and it's a matter for all Indians to be proud of. With this, we have entered the elite 4 countries in the world who have this technology. We have hit a moving satellite at 300 kilometers range by a missile fired from the Earth in 3 minutes. We had earlier made a lot of advancement in the space technology for peaceful, for education, for other benefits, but this is the first time we have developed a technology that can be used for securing the space around India, our space environment, which can be used ultimately for defense purposes, obviously. That's why the Prime Minister has categorically stated this is not directed against any country, nor have we violated any international agreement or any provision of the agreement law. So it's a great achievement, and our scientists deserve congratulations. I think India needs to move forward on all fronts, including defense, and this is a right step in that direction. Why it has come now, your question, well, it had to come sometime. It takes time to develop this technology. Earlier, we were the only country that had reached Mars with the least cost spent. I think, a fraction of what the Americans had done in reaching Mars. That was a great achievement, and this is yet another achievement which has an application in the defense of the country, in securing India's space.
Certainly, this is a significant step forward in securing India in the airspace. So some also call it weaponization of space, which is why it's been controversial in the past. When China carried out this test in 2007, there was worldwide condemnation. But would you say that more than a decade later, the world looks very different today, and especially India is a country that is viewed very differently?
I think India's peaceful designs are well known to the country. We have had no aggressive designs against any other country if you take the last 1,000 years of our history. So we cannot be bracketed in the same league as China is. That is the first part. Secondly, this is a defensive technology. We haven't said anything against any other country. So this is an advancement in science. If three countries have already got it, America, Russia and China, I don't see why India should not also. If you have to move forward and become a superpower, then you first have to ensure that your security is ensured. There will be criticism, I suppose, in some quarters, may not be as vehement as it was done in the case of China. But we should be prepared for it. If we have to move forward, we have to take all that in our stride. So I think this is a great achievement, and this is very much required. You can't be insecure and then keep moving forward economically and hope to become a superpower. The movement has to be on all fronts jointly, and I think this is very, very important. Defense has to move forward. Unless you feel secure as a country, unless the world knows that you are a secure country, well, I suppose people will be outright there to exploit our weaknesses. So this is a great achievement, and I'm very, very happy that this has been done.
All right. So, the Prime Minister there, in a sense, sending out the message that if India has to emerge as an economic superpower, it also has to be a technological superpower, it has to be a space superpower. And we cannot be afraid of how the world will react, as you said. The political will has been displayed on this occasion to give our scientists, who always possess this capability, to go ahead and actually conduct this test, however risky or controversial it may have been considered to be in the past. And while, yes, the Prime Minister has also made it abundantly clear that we're not targeting any country, this is in our self-defense, this is to boost our own security apparatus. But would you not agree, sir, that this does send out a very important message to the world at large and indeed to our adversaries as well?
It does, absolutely, and I think it should. India is on the march ahead to becoming a superpower. How long it takes is a matter of time, despite being a very, very heterogeneous democracy, which is a great achievement. So, I mean, if people say that this is weaponization of space, well, so is a nuclear power. We are already a nuclear power, and there are 8 other countries nuclear power. Acquiring a technology does not mean that we have changed our peaceful designs. We are not aggressive by any means. If you take that logic, then I think every country that has got a nuclear weapon, which also goes into space, is also can be accused. But I think we are already a superpower. We are already a nuclear power. It was opposed at that time in '98, but today the world is reconciled. So I don't think there will be so much of noise made by the world. It's just our apprehension based on what the world said for China. China is a different country. China may have different designs. We don't have any aggressive designs. We haven't attacked anybody for so many years in the history. So the world knows that. Our philosophy is well known. We are a peaceful country. We want to move forward, and you can't move forward unless you're secure. Security is a basic requirement for any country to make progress on every other front, whether it is economy or whether it is political, whether to be diplomatically strong. Security is a basic need. That has been the concept ever since Chanakya's time. He said this very clearly when he was advising his King Chandragupta. So security is the prime requirement. First make yourself secure, then move forward so that people can't eye your territory or can't damage your national interest.
All right, Lieutenant General Kadian, thanks very much for sharing your perspective with us on this big step forward that Indian scientists have taken, taking India into an elite club that so far had only 3 members in it. Let me go back to my colleague Sumit Chaudhary at this point. Sumit, we're talking about how China may have been criticized for carrying out a similar test in 2007, but India is viewed differently. India is not seen as an aggressor in any way. It's not a hegemonic power with expansionist design, something that China is often accused of and therefore viewed suspiciously by the entire world. So while there may be some murmurs of criticism in some quarters, by and large, this should really not evoke the kind of reaction that China's test may have evoked back in 2007. Many of our experts pointing out that India cannot be placed in that sense in the same category as China.
Well, Neha, we have to understand this is not for the any aggression. It is for the safety and for the security of our space efforts, and that too when we have clearly mentioned that India has done these capabilities. That is very important because only few nations, at least the elite group, only have three major countries like USA, UK, and USSR, and the third one is China. So we have now developed these capabilities only for the security point of view, to secure the space efforts of India. And when India is talking, India clearly mentioned that we have done these capabilities, and we have working from this on very early in 2010 only, Neha, in the Trivendrapuram, it was clearly mentioned by the Science Congress that how we have been working on this capability, and in the near future we are going to develop it. And finally, India has made it after almost 9 years of that announcement that India has now finally done a successful test of this. Back to you.
All right. Thanks very much, Sumit. We'll come back to you in just a moment. Also joining me here in the studio now is Major General A.K. Sivaj. Sir, your thoughts on this big announcement, the Prime Minister there saying this is a big moment for India, something that all of us should be proud of. We're not just capable of defending ourselves on land, water and air, but also in space now. He has, of course, called this mission Shakti and says it's an important step towards securing India's safety, economic growth and technological advancement, something that has not been used by any other country so far. How do you see this?
You're asking me?
Yes.
Or Sivaj? Okay.
Sorry, go ahead, sir.
Oh, sir. You see, firstly, I must congratulate our scientists for achieving this enormous feat, which only 3 members have achieved so far. We have 13 odd military satellites which are on the orbit. We need to protect them. And the dimensions of the warfare is changing. The war is not like last war. We can never prepare for the last war. We have to prepare for the next war. And the next war can well be, has the space dimensions. Now, if you recall, when China did it in 2007, there was fair amount of criticism because the US as well as Russia, they started off initially the Strategic Defense Initiative and so-called, which is famously known as Star Wars. But then what happened was that they thought that it is too destructive, and thereafter this Star Wars issue came into, shall we say, they went slow on it. But then China revoked it again.
Yes.
So that is how it happened. Now in our case, we have our adversaries, and we know the way China has backed Pakistan, and they have also given satellites to Pakistan, they have given satellite support to Pakistan, and therefore now we are under threat. And so are our satellites. If we have 13 odd military satellites as of now working, and a large number of our systems, they work on satellites. Whether it is Riki, whether it is surveillance, whether it is targeting, whether it is int gathering, we have to protect ourselves. So basically, it's an action which we have to do to protect our strategic interest and our military interest as well. So therefore, as far as the world community is concerned, they do understand that India is in a little precarious position with 2 nuclear states on both the sides, with China being a space power as well, And China after 2007 has also developed a little more capabilities as far as the space warfare is concerned.
General Asthana, what's significant is, and we've been talking to a lot of defense experts, and when we asked them about the reaction that China's test evoked around the world in 2007, and there was a fair bit of condemnation. Most of our experts seem to think that you cannot place India and China in the same category, because while China is often accused of being hegemonic and expansionist in its designs, India is not seen as an aggressor at all. The fact that it is a peaceful nation is known to everyone, and the Prime Minister also has made it abundantly clear that this is something that we are doing in self-defense to boost our own security, our economic growth and technological advancements. We're not targeting any country here.
Neha, in fact, being a strategic analyst, I'll just describe it in a slightly different manner. You see, as far as China's military capability is concerned, it is developing on an expeditionary mode and on expansionist mode. If you see, when they say that I will protect every node of my BRI, that means he is looking at going globally. And that is why China is on a different category. Our defense capabilities are getting developed purely to look after our interests in Indian Ocean and on the two land borders. And any defense expert in the world or any strategic expert in the world, by virtue of your development of your military capabilities, will be able to make out a difference between the two. That while you are not looking at globally, we are not looking at any military capability globally. We are only looking at our neighborhood and saving ourselves.
So would it be safe to then assume, while of course when the Prime Minister decides to go ahead with such a move, he's obviously not worried about what the world may think or say or how they may react, but would it be safe to say that we are not likely to get the kind of criticism that China did in 2007, because perhaps the world at large does view India very differently, and they do realize how we are positioning ourselves here and what our larger motive and interest here really is?
I fully agree with you. We are unlikely to be viewed in the form in which China was viewed at that point of time. Secondly, we have done it in the low orbit, and it's a test satellite which has been destroyed as far as this particular operation is concerned. Now, more important is that what is the intent? The intent is most important as far as the strategic positioning is concerned and strategic posturing is concerned. Now, our intent is very clear, and more than the intent, everybody views it as to what is your defense budget, what is your capability which you can buy out of this defense budget, and how you are going to position yourself, and what are your intentions and what is your threat assessment.
It's the intent, the threat assessment, and how the world perceives you and how you position yourself. Very interesting.
Exactly.
Also, before I bring in Ashish Singh, my colleague here, sir, one quick question. Correct to say that this has actually been done at a very low cost by India, something that perhaps no other country would have been capable of? General Asthana, that's to you. Before I go across to Ashish.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, it is at a much lower cost. You see, even when we send our mission to moon, Gaganyaan, Prime Minister pointed out that it is at a cost lesser than a Hollywood movie. So
Chandrayaan.
Yeah, Chandrayaan. Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Yes.
So therefore, the point I am trying to make is that our scientists, they work in the financial constraints as well.
Yes.
They have learned to work under financial constraints.
Yes.
They are not into too much of expenditure, and therefore we must grant it to our scientists. And in any case, something which makes me proud whenever I have been to USA. You see, in NASA, most of the scientists are Indians. A large number of scientists are Indians.
That's true.
So therefore, it is our brain which is working. I have been in United Nations, the communication hub of Brindisi, which directs the communication of the entire world as far as United Nations is concerned.
Yes.
It is totally manned by Indians.
Absolutely.
And when I went there, I was very pleasantly surprised and felt proud.
No two ways about it, sir, because our scientists have always done us proud. So kudos to Indian scientists, to everyone, all those brilliant men and women working at ISRO, at DRDO, for doing us proud one more time. They never fail to do that. Ashish, coming back to you at this point, of course, we've been talking about how India always possessed the capability to develop a weapon of this nature, to carry out a test of this nature, but no political establishment in the past ever thought it fit to give the go-ahead to the scientists for this, because it was considered too risky, it was considered too controversial, especially given the kind of reactions that China's test back in 2007 evoked. However, today, by taking this step, the Modi government has made it clear that, one, it's not too worried about whatever criticism may come its way. Two, the Prime Minister in his address made it abundantly clear that we are doing this in self-defense to boost our own security and technological preparedness and advancement. This is not directed against any country. And three, as General Asthana and most of our defense experts have pointed out, that it would not even be right or fair to place India and China in the same category. The world at large views these two nations very differently. At the end of the day, as General Asthana says, it's the intent that counts.
See, Neha, before I answer that question and give our viewers a perspective from that particular angle, I would like to inform our viewers that I've been speaking to a lot of top officials in the PMO, MEA and the DRDO. It seems India was pretty prepared. Just before the announcement, the government had fully taken all aspects into consideration, specifically of the condemnation, if at all it comes from the international community. And there is a 10 pointers that have been from the government point of view to exactly convey to the entire world what was the reasons, why was it done, when was it done, and all these WH aspects that covers these 10 particular points. Now, before I answer exactly what the government's understanding of this particular aspect is and how do they want the world to see it, there are 10 major points, and what are these 10 points that has been taken into consideration by the government of India, obviously including the various ministries and the departments. What was the test? You know, this is the first aspect that the government prepared itself for. On March 27, 2019, India conducted Mission Shakti, an anti-satellite missile test from the Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Island Launch Complex. This was a technological mission carried out by DRDO. The satellite used in the mission was one of India's existing satellites operating in lower orbit. The test was fully successful and achieved all parameters as per plans. The test required an extremely high degree of precision and technical capability. The second point that was government's apprehension as far as the scenario and the reaction post Mission Shakti is concerned. Which satellite was used? The answer is pretty clear, that the satellite used was an Indian satellite. So let there be no confusion as far as the international community is concerned, that if at all one of their satellites, be it the currently orbiting or the used ones which have been targeted. So it was an Indian satellite. The next point that the government wants everyone to know about is simply the significance, which missile interceptor was used. The DRDO's ballistic missile defense interceptor was used, which is part of the ongoing ballistic missile defense program. Then the next question is, there are other ways we have developed capability. There are other ways to demonstrate asset capability, such as flyby test and jamming. Why has India used the particular technology of kinetic kill? This is one of the major aspects as far as the militarization of the space is concerned. Now, in this particular response, the government thinks and wants to convey to the entire international community, this is a technology where we have developed capability. Space technologies are constantly evolving. We have used the technology that is appropriate to achieve the objectives set out in this mission. Now, does the test create space debris? Because this is going to be another worry as far as the International Space Station and the other countries which have their satellites currently orbiting in the lower orbit of the Earth. If you have a debris, it can collide with any of their satellites. Now, does the test create space debris? The test was done in the lower atmosphere to ensure that there is no space debris. This is the major point coming from the government sources. Whatever debris that is generated will decay and fall back onto the Earth within few weeks. So the debris that has been created out of the mission Shakti, successful operation from the DRDO and the Government of India, the debris will fall back on the Earth within few weeks. And why did we do the test? India has a long-standing and rapidly growing space program. It has expanded rapidly. In the last 5 years, the Mangalyaan mission to Mars was successful launch. Thereafter, the government has sanctioned the Gaganyaan mission, which will which will take Indians to outer space. India has undertaken 102 spacecraft mission. The next question, I'll move to the 7th point that the government thinks that is going to be the major worry from the international community side. Why was the test done now? So the political angle is coming here. The international community, or specifically our neighbors, may raise this as the political gimmick. Let's see what the government sources have to inform on this. The tests were done after we had acquired the required degree of confidence to ensure its success and reflects the intention of the government to enhance India's national security. India has seen an accelerated space development program since 2014. So a clear message coming out from the top sources in the government that this is nothing to do with the political angle just before the elections. This is what the government believes, and they want the world to know that this is nothing to do with the elections, which are just few weeks away now. The next aspect that the Indian government wants to clarify to the international community is India entering into an arms race in outer space. Now, this is exactly what is Manish Tiwari's tweet was, the opposition. India has no intention of entering into an arms race in outer space. We have always maintained that space must be used only for peaceful purposes. We are against the weaponization of outer space and support international efforts to reinforce the safety and security of space-based assets. Remember, Neha, this is exactly what we have been telling our viewers, that the new domain, the space domain, becoming the new area of warfare among the major powers is going to be the major concerns, and this is what the government has conveyed to the international community, that we are against the weaponization of the outer space. The space is not going to be a new platform where the countries would be fighting, competing against each other. Now, the next point is, what is the international law on weapons in outer space? That's an important one. The answer is the principal international treaty on space is the 1967 Outer Space Treaty. India is a signatory to this treaty and ratified it in 1982. The Outer Space Treaty prohibits only weapons of mass destruction in outer space, not ordinary weapons. This is, I would say, very smartly the Indian government has came out among the clauses and the sub-clauses of the 1967 Outer Space Treaty. The treaty that was signed by India as well and ratified it in 1982. Indian government is the signatory, and it is for the mass. It is not for the mass destruction, and it is just the ordinary weapon. Yeah.
All right. Well, you may talk about how the government is looking to address the political criticism that might come from the opposition in this election season, but we can be very sure, Ashish, that that there will be a political war over this, and it's begun. Rahul Gandhi has also tweeted saying, "Well done, DRDO. Extremely proud of your work. I would also like to wish the Prime Minister a very happy World Theatre Day." Similar comments coming in from other opposition leaders like Akhilesh Yadav and Omar Abdullah, who've congratulated the scientists of this country for this giant leap that India has taken in space technology, but also questioning, one, the timing of the announcement by the government, and also questioning the need for the Prime Minister to address the nation and make this announcement. Some also saying online, why could this announcement not have been made by some of our top scientists instead? Well, so this political feud will continue. Remember, this is election season, but at the end of the day, we have to remember that for our scientists, this is a big leap forward. For India itself, it's a big leap forward. We perhaps are now in an elite club of space superpowers. What does this really mean? We will try and deconstruct this for you further with our panel of experts.